Question. Hi Kim, I know that there are positive selves, happiness, joy, goodness, not to mention spiritual egos. When an ordinary person does good deeds, is he conscious? Is he in the conscious I, or the conscious you as I call it? Or is it the selves that act? I so want to deal with something real in a person and not with robots. Can all people communicate from the heart as consciousness? Well, let's first talk about this. Spiritual egos. Yeah, there are no spiritual egos. At least I wouldn't use that word, because ego for me has connotations to the separate ego that we need to overcome as we go spiritually. So there is of course a sense of self, a spiritual sense of self, but I would rather not use the word ego about it to avoid confusion there. When an ordinary person does good deeds, is he conscious? Is it the conscious you? Well, not necessarily. It can be, depending on how conscious the person is. But now you take the first sentence here. I know there are positive selves. Well, yes, and that's probably something that, I don't remember if I talked about it in other videos, but it's an important topic. So what I have explained is, we can see ourselves as connected beings or as separate beings. When we go into separation, we use the duality consciousness to create a separate sense of self. And there are always two opposite polarities in duality, right? So there is what we normally call selfishness, which means you do whatever you want regardless of the consequences it has for other people. You're manipulating other people, you're taking advantage of them, you're hurting them. That's what you normally would call a bad self or an evil self. But the flip side of this is that you can also, from duality, create these subconscious selves, separate selves, that are supposedly good. So you see, for example, just as one example, there are many Christians that I have met who, if you ask them, would insist that they are good people. And they would say, look, I did this, I did that, I did the next thing that proves I'm a good person. But many times they are acting from these subconscious selves that are just the opposite dualistic polarity to the evil selves. So you have selves that appear to be good. That's why Jesus called the scribes and Pharisees hypocrites, because they had created all these subconscious selves that were causing them to do good acts, but they also felt very prideful and very special and holier than thou because they were doing these good acts. And so it's very, very possible that people have these kind of selves, and that's why they are doing good things. They're doing it to appear good. They're doing it to create an appearance. In a sense, you can say that when you go into duality, you lose genuineness. And everything you do is done to create some kind of appearance. You are trying to appear to be a good person, for example. That's why Jesus said, judge not after appearances, but judge righteous judgment. And the person then says, I so want to deal with something real in a person and not with robots. Yeah, well, the only way to achieve that is that you overcome your own subconscious selves. And then when you overcome your subconscious selves, you will begin to deal with people in a whole different way, because you will be able to, you're not projecting anything upon them, you're not seeking to get anything for yourself or create any or maintain any appearance. So you can just relate to them in a straightforward manner, and you'll be surprised at how many people then will respond by being more open and genuine with you. So you can actually communicate with them at a deeper level once you overcome that facade you're putting on, where you're sort of, I saw for many, many years in my life, I was basically trying to hide myself because I was afraid of getting hurt or afraid of getting rejected. So I was trying to hide myself behind a certain facade, often by using humor, for example. And once you drop that, you will have a more genuine interaction with other people. It may not be that everybody is ready to talk to you really at the deeper level, at the heart level, but still you can have a better communication with people. And then it says, can all people communicate from the heart? All people have the ability to do it, theoretically, but many people have so many of these subconscious selves that they are not really able to step outside of the selves and connect at the heart level. Basically, you can say when you talk about communicating with the heart, it's communication that goes beyond these subconscious selves, whether they're the bad selves or the good selves, and where you are communicating in a more genuine way, where there's no facade, you're not pretending anything. And that's what, to me, it would mean to communicate at the heart level. And that requires the subconscious you to have resolved so many selves that it can at least step outside of the remaining selves and connect at a deeper level. And if people haven't achieved that, then you can't communicate with them at that level. But as I said, when you overcome enough of your own subconscious selves, you will attract to you people who have also overcome some of theirs. So you can communicate at that deeper level.